Hello, friends. It's so good to see your faces across time and space through this really phenomenal thing called the World Wide Web. And happy mindfulness, everyone. Happy Mindfulness Monday. Anyone's first time here would love to send you a personal welcome. And if you're continuing to return back to our Mindfulness Monday group, welcome back, my friends. Thanks for joining us today. Please know everyone will be muted for the duration of today's session, and you can use that chat function to communicate with us, share your questions, thoughts, insights, maybe where you're joining from. And I'd love to invite you to join us on camera. We do like to see each other here. If you're in a place to share, turn your camera on. And if not, no big deal. Just tune in and we know that you're present here with us. Our next live English mindfulness session will be on Monday, August 11th. Before we get into it, I want to remind you about our other PD Health at Home virtual programs. Each week we offer sessions tailored to support people with Parkinson's and their care partners, including our Mindfulness Mondays, Wellness Wednesdays, Fitness Fridays, expert briefings, and our Spanish language series, Y Salud en Casa. Be sure to visit our website to see what's coming up and explore archived videos on YouTube. This week's Wellness Wednesdays offers an introduction and a basic overview of Parkinson's disease. It's going to be featuring and sort of kind of the debut of our newest chief medical officer, Dr. Sneha Martri. We know that PD varies from person to person and changes over time. So we'll discover what causes Parkinson's, the common symptoms, what treatments are available, and effective strategy for managing those symptoms. It's also a great program to attend if you're new to the Parkinson's journey or if you want to share the basics with those in your support circle to help them understand what you may or could be going through. You can register at parkinson.org/pdhealth. PD Health at Home is presented by the Light of Day Foundation. Many thanks to our sponsor, Light of Day, for their generous support of our mission. And today we bring back Devon Hase, inviting us into the space of mindfulness. Thank you, Devon, for joining us.
Yay, good to be here. So I am calling in today from Salida, Colorado, calling in from my iPhone. So you might actually see me doing a little of this, poking at my iPhone. That's probably what I'm going to do when I'm reading chats a little later. And the reason that I'm in Salida is because my wife and I are about to do a little backpacking trip. So right after this, we're going to head out into the mountains, which is one of our favorite things, just ways to spend our time. I've been doing the Parkinson's Foundation Mindfulness Mondays for, I think, at least 4 years. It might even be more than that. I was just trying to remember how long it's been. And it has been a true delight. Every time I come, I feel really buoyed by this community. And today I want to talk about mindfulness of thoughts, mindfulness of thinking. So I'll take you back about 3 decades. When I was about 15 years old, I picked up my first meditation book. It was a book by Joseph Goldstein. It was called Insight Meditation. And I read this book and I got really excited about meditation. This was 1994. Nobody I knew was practicing mindfulness or meditation. Of course, there were no apps. There was no Zoom that you could join. I just had this book. That's all I had. And so I had the book and I had the instructions from the book and I sat down on my bedroom floor, sitting on the pillows from my bed, and I tried to meditate. And it was impossible. All my thoughts were just racing. It felt like I was trying to ride a rodeo bull. And I just kept getting thrown off and thrown off and thrown off. And I thought to myself, I can't do it. Meditation is not for me. My mind is too busy. I'm a little bit crazy. That was my big takeaway from my first attempt at meditation. And one of the reasons that I stopped was because I had a misconception about what mindfulness is, about what meditation does. I thought that when I meditated, my thoughts were supposed to stop. Has anybody ever thought that? Anyone believe that? Or at the very least, my mind is supposed to get calm, or at least a little calmer. But this is a misconception. We actually don't need our thoughts to stop in order to meditate, in order to be mindful. We don't even need to be immediately calm in order to be mindful. We get all of the benefits from mindfulness, even with a really busy mind. The distinction is not between, is my mind busy or is my mind calm? The distinction, and this is really, really important. If you remember nothing else from today, remember this distinction. The distinction is, am I aware of my thoughts or am I not? Am I aware of my thinking or am I not? That is what we are training in mindfulness. And so sometimes I say, mindfulness of thoughts is like sitting on the bank of a river and just watching the river flow. But pretty often in mindfulness of thoughts, you get lost in your thoughts. And that's a little bit like falling into the river. You fall in the river and you find yourself half a mile downstream, and then you kind of crawl your way to the riverbank again, and you sit down and you watch the river again. And it's the same. Mindfulness of thoughts. You get lost in your thoughts, you're gone for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It doesn't matter how long you've been gone, because at some point you'll wake up. Oh, and then you can be mindful of your thoughts once again. Just like you can swim to the side of the river and take your place on the riverbank again. So that is what we are going to do today. We're not going to try to control our thinking. We're certainly not going to try to stop our thinking, but we are going to train attention to know the thinking mind. So let's do a little meditation together. You can find a nice, comfortable meditation posture. It's nice to be alert, which means a little bit upright. Even more important, relaxed. So you might close your eyes or just soften your gaze. And let's take a couple of deeper breaths, as deep as feels comfortable for you and your body in this moment. And then once you've taken those deeper breaths, just let your breath be. If your breath feels deep, let it feel deep. If it feels shallow, let it feel shallow. Your breath does not have to be any particular way. And you could bring a warm awareness, a kind attention to your body. Sometimes it's not so easy to feel your body. It could be that there's just a kind of numbness. That's okay. Feel that numbness. It could be that there's discomfort. That's okay. – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – –– –– –– – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – –– Whatever is here in your experience of your body is welcome. Now let's spend a minute or so just sensing your body. And then from this space of being a little bit more grounded in your own living body, allow that warm awareness, the kind attention to open to the realm of thinking. Just notice your thoughts. What's on your mind? And there's no need to improve your thoughts. You don't have to make them better. There's not some special thought you're supposed to be having in meditation. You just spend a minute or so in silence, just noticing what's on your mind. What thoughts are passing through? And you might recognize that you've gotten lost in thinking. No problem. Happens all the time. When you notice, I've been swept down the river, see if you can swim to the shore, get back on the river bank, and just watch the river again. Just notice thinking. What's here? And you might also notice that you like some thoughts and maybe you don't like some others. That's okay. But the attitude is just a kind of friendliness toward all of your thinking. Maybe you have a resentful thought and you'd rather not. Just turn toward it with friendliness, not getting rid of it, not pushing it away. Oh, this is a resentful thought. Or you have a thought that brings you joy. You don't need to chase after it. Just notice, hmm, that's a joyful thought. So we're cultivating an attitude of friendliness toward all of our thinking. And over time, this can be very freeing, can give us a kind of space, gives us room around our thoughts, so that whatever is passing through the mind is welcome, but not necessarily convincing. And now you might take another deep breath or two. You could open your eyes, stretch in any way that feels comfortable in your body in this moment. Mm, good. So that was a 10-minute meditation. Nicely done. And see, how do I do this? My phone is being funny with me around the chat. I'd love to hear from you how that was. So you could just type into the chat what you noticed, how it was to do that meditation, what you're learning, and if you have any questions, I'd love to hear. You might see me doing this because for some reason on my phone, the chat is going this way. It is horizontal, not vertical. I felt relaxed. Good. I had no thoughts. Well, that's very relaxing. Kept falling in the river. Well, I hope it was a nice swim. I was calm. I didn't want to stop. It was very nice. Good. Mhm. Mindfulness of thoughts. It's very calming. I am also new. Yeah, good. Welcome. Thank you. I often use the river, place my thought on a leaf, and send it on the stream. It was peaceful. Very good. Marvelous explanation. What I'm looking for. Took me a long time to learn. Yeah, me too. I really like the image of watching the river, then swimming to the shore to observe. Yeah, it did clear my mind. Yeah, that can also happen is that it clears your mind. That's sort of a secondary gain. Amazing, lovely, peaceful, forgiving of self. Got very emotional at one point, and that's also true. Strong emotions can come up, positive feeling emotions, difficult emotions. When we watch our thoughts, all kinds of things can happen. I felt sleepy, but calming, yes. I felt relaxed, but keep on the busy week ahead, yeah, relaxing. Great relief to know that thoughts are not supposed to stop. Mhm. Welcome, Jill. You're new here. I especially like the friendliness invitation. To me, this is the crux of what we do in meditation. Maybe we do two things. One, we learn to place our attention, which is so important for anything we want to do in life. Placing our attention is the first thing we learn. The second thing, which may be even more important, is we learn an attitude. We cultivate, we train an attitude of friendliness toward all of our experiences. Michelle is saying, few thoughts came, but fell off several times, nodding to sleep, which is totally fine. First time attending, I felt more relaxed than I have in days. I also follow the leaf on the river. Good image. Only could think of things I need to get done today. Perfect. You're welcome to think of things that you need to get done today, as long as you're aware of the thinking. Very tranquil. Stream of consciousness felt like a weight was removed from my brain. That's very nice. So happy that you explained that our mind does not need to be empty, but to be aware of our thoughts. My mind is less active now when meditating. Yeah, very good. Any questions that came up for you? I would love to hear if there's anything that's unresolved or you're still wondering about. Any questions? Here's another observation. Even though my eyes were closed, I noticed my eyes drifting when I was getting distracted. That's a good observation. Tell us about your backpacking plans. Sure, I would love to tell you about the backpacking plans. So Devon and I are starting in Salida, Colorado. I used to live in Colorado, so I know this area really well. And we're getting on the Colorado Trail. The Colorado Trail is actually a 500-mile trail that goes all the way from Denver to Durango in Colorado. So it starts in the middle of Colorado, goes all the way to the southwest corner. But we don't have time to do that entire trail, which would take 6 to 8 weeks. So we're doing a 2-week section of the trail. The trail is very high altitude, so it's between 10,000 feet and 13,000 feet. The nice thing is it's going to be cool up there because right now it's 95 degrees in town, and that wouldn't be very fun to hike in, but it's cool when it's at high altitude, and there's no mosquitoes at high altitude. And the difficulty is that it's hard to hike at high altitude. So our backpacking plans I'm very excited about. Here's another report. Relaxing removed me from my busy to-do treadmill. Yes. Hint for noticing pain. Excellent question. So whether we are noticing our thoughts or whether we're noticing sensations in our body, there's often going to be discomfort in the body. And there can even be pretty significant pain in the body. So a couple of key points for working with pain. The first, again, is an attitude of friendliness. There's two parts to a pain experience usually. The first part is just the physical sensation of pain. And the second part is our reactivity to that sensation of pain. Our reactivity, our resistance to the pain actually magnifies the subjective experience of the pain so that we feel more pain than we otherwise would. So what we're doing in meditation around pain, we're not going to get rid of the physical sensation. It's just going to be pain. But when we remove the resistance to the pain, our subjective experience of the pain can often soften and we feel it less intensely. So that friendliness toward the physical sensation of pain is very, very helpful. And then the second thing is it's helpful to bring your attention directly to the pain for a short period and then direct your attention away from the pain to another part of the body that's actually feeling neutral or good. So let's say that there's pain in your back. You would bring that warm awareness, that kind attention to the pain in your back for a little while. And then maybe your right foot feels okay, neutral or good. You would bring that warm awareness, that kind attention to your right foot and really get curious about what are the sensations like in my right foot. And then you would go back and forth between the pain point and the neutral or pleasant sensation, back and forth. And if you have medications that help, of course, please keep taking them. If you have physical therapy or you have massage or anything else, do anything that you can in order to take care of the physical source of the pain. But it seems to be that being alive means that there is pain in the body. And of course, having a diagnosis like Parkinson's disease is going to be more discomfort often. So working with pain skillfully is an important part of our journey. All right, many different chats here. I'm not going to get to all of them. People are wishing me good luck. When I could allow friendly acceptance of resentful thoughts, it was freeing. Need to practice more. That's such a key. We want to push away our resentful thoughts or our angry thoughts. And it's a little bit like working with pain. And the more we try to push away the thoughts we don't like, the more powerful they become, the more painful they become. But if we can just bring friendliness to that resentment, like, yeah, okay, maybe a little sense of humor. The resentful thought. Maybe this is even a pattern that comes up. When we bring that friendliness, it softens the experience. So it's like if we're pushing away, it's as if we have a closed fist, but when we just allow it to be there, it's almost like we soften the fist, we let it open. So there are many more chats that I didn't get to, and I apologize that I didn't get to everybody. It's been a delight, as always, to join you today for Mindfulness Mondays. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to seeing you next time, which should be in a month or two. Until then, take very good care.
Mm. Thank you so much, Nico. Really appreciate your guidance. And yes, good luck. We do wish to see you back soon. So enjoy. You and Devon have an amazing time. Truly,
Yeah.
we'll be missing you guys here. And just as a reminder, y'all, our next session will be on August 11th. And in the meantime, if you're feeling really inspired to practice more mindfulness techniques, you can scan the code and visit our library of recorded programs at your leisure. And at any point during the journey of Parkinson's day by day, you can feel free to reach out to our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO or email them at helpline@parkinson.org. They are Parkinson's disease specialists and can help you navigate resources, support, doctors, you name it, anything Parkinson's related, we've got it for you. And also our website, parkinson.org, all kinds of information. Try not to get lost in the weeds on that website. There's good stuff there to explore. So until soon, my friends, we will see you on August 11th. Be well, be kind, and be aware. Until soon.